Grace. It's a word that whispers of second chances and undeserved kindness. In its purest form, grace is God's love poured out on us, not because we've earned it, but because He loves us. It's a gift freely given, a beacon of hope in a world often shrouded in darkness. Grace reminds us that we are loved, not for our accomplishments, but for who we are, His children. Imagine a waterfall cascading down with unrelenting force. That's the image of God's grace, constantly flowing, always available to cleanse and renew us. It's a gift that knows no bounds, a love that surpasses all understanding. Grace is the embodiment of God's goodness, reaching out to us even when we stray. In essence, grace is God's yes to us, even when we deserve a resounding no. It's the knowledge that we are accepted, embraced, and cherished not because of our own merit, but because of His immeasurable love. Grace is the very heartbeat of the gospel, the foundation upon which our salvation stands firm. The Apostle Paul, once a staunch advocate for the law, became a passionate herald of grace. His conversion experience transformed his understanding of salvation, leading him to declare that we are saved by grace through faith, not by our own efforts. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 to 9 proclaims. Paul understood that human effort, no matter how sincere, could never bridge the gap between humanity and a holy God. He knew firsthand the futility of striving for righteousness through the law. It was only when Paul encountered the overwhelming grace of Jesus Christ that he grasped the true nature of salvation. His message became clear. Salvation is not earned, but received as a free gift. Paul's teachings emphasize that grace is not a reward for good behavior, nor is it something we can lose through our failings. It is a constant, unwavering gift, freely offered to all who believe. This radical message challenged the religious norms of his day and continues to resonate with profound implications for us today. One of the most beautiful aspects of grace is its power to dismantle human pride. When we understand that our salvation is not a result of our own doing, but a gift freely given, boasting becomes utterly absurd. Grace compels us to acknowledge our need for a Savior and to live in humble gratitude for His sacrifice. Imagine a child receiving a gift from a loving parent. Does the child boast about deserving the gift? No, the child receives it with joy and thankfulness, recognizing the parent's generosity. In the same way, we are called to approach God's grace with humility and awe. Grace reminds us that we bring nothing to the table of salvation except our sin and need for redemption. It is God alone who makes us worthy, clothing us in the righteousness of Christ. This understanding fosters a spirit of humility, recognizing that every breath, every blessing is a testament to His unmerited favor. When we grasp the magnitude of God's grace, our hearts are filled with gratitude, not pride. We are humbled by His love, recognizing that our salvation is not about us, but about Him and His glorious plan of redemption. The concept of grace stands in stark contrast to the idea of salvation by works. Throughout history, various theological perspectives have emerged, attempting to reconcile human effort with God's grace. Two such perspectives, Pelagianism and Arminianism, highlight the ongoing tension between grace and works. Pelagianism, named after the monk Pelagius, asserted that humans are born inherently good and capable of achieving salvation through their own efforts. This view downplayed the impact of original sin and minimized the need for God's grace. It placed the burden of salvation squarely on human shoulders, suggesting that we could earn our way into God's favor. Arminianism, while acknowledging the role of grace, emphasized the importance of human free will in accepting or rejecting God's offer of salvation. This perspective suggested that God's grace was available to all, but ultimately depended on an individual's choice to accept it. While both Pelagianism and Arminianism contain elements of truth, they fall short of fully grasping the radical nature of God's grace. The Bible is clear: our salvation is not contingent upon our own efforts or choices, but solely on God's unmerited favor. Well, thank you for listening to my short video on God's grace. I hope you found it informative and relieving if you maybe struggle with accepting God's grace. Share and subscribe if you want to support my new channel.